What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? How you doing? First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for the love and the support. I thank y'all for the comments, man. I wish I can get to all the comments sometime, but I be working through different platforms. You know, I be on Threads sometimes. I be on Facebook groups sometimes. TikTok most definitely. And now I'm here on YouTube. So, man, I be trying to get to everybody, but, you know, it be hard. But I do see some of the comments, and I do thank y'all for the support that y'all give me, man. I appreciate the love, y'all. I know y'all hear it from me all the time, but I humbly appreciate that. But but yeah, I'm having a pretty good day today, man. I'm having a pretty good day today. Besides, just like I mentioned earlier, besides this morning, finding out what those people was trying to put their do a seance on our people's cemetery. I just felt that was disrespectful. But before we get started, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Disclaimer: I'm not trying to push my ideology on anyone. I'm not trying to convince nobody on how to think or think like me, okay? I do sometimes come from an ignorant place, right? Because, you know, by me being the only child, I think a lot. You know, I come up with things. You know, some things I come up with might be wrong, but in my mind, I think it's right, you know. But the word African, I know I mentioned this in a few of my videos. And the reason why I don't like using the word African, especially in debates or in some of my videos describing or saying that I have DNA or I come from the transatlantic slave trade or we have ancestors in Africa. And I'm not trying to push my ideology on y'all, but I just want y'all just to understand where I'm coming from on the reason why this African thing is saying, just using African with us, but still saying that we're not African, if I'm making sense. One of the reasons why I don't like using that word, because as you know, a lot of these Africans like to use that. And my experiences in the last 6 years of social media, interacting with these people in real life, I just kind of noticed certain things, man, that kind of irk my spirit. And I noticed they be running with this, well, at one point in time, you say, yeah, you know, I got ancestors in Africa. Like, yeah, you're African. You know, the African tell me, yeah, you're African, man, because you got ancestors in Africa, that means you African. But I'm going back and forth telling, how am I African? I'm not a continental African, but they keep pushing this thing that you're African. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're in this position now with these African prime ministers or presidents or whatever, or these diplomats thinking that they are owed what is owed to us. You get what I'm saying? Because we keep saying this African thing. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't like it. You know, I totally understand when we're having conversations. Let's say we are in front of the world or something like that, and we having conversations. I can understand people say, yeah, life started in Africa. Even I don't believe that. Me personally, I don't believe life started in Africa. But I can understand in the context of speaking in front of a group of people, they can understand that concept of saying that we all come from Africa or we all have DNA that comes from Africa. Even I don't believe that, never did believe that, but I can understand the conversation that's happening in front of a large sum of people with different backgrounds, different understandings and stuff like that, because you don't want to get in front of a group of people and talk like I'm talking, like, man, we ain't from no goddamn Africa. Then you know people gonna look at you crazy. So I can understand that type of conversation. I can understand that type of conversation when we talking amongst each other privately or at a restaurant or at grocery stores or, you know, just things like that. You know what I mean? I can understand that. But when we on these platforms and we are having debates with these tellers or with these immigrants or with these white people and they keep saying, well, y'all are African. Well, if y'all not African, why do y'all keep saying y'all have DNA come from Africa, which is a great point? Or why do you keep saying that your ancestors come from Africa? Or why do you say we all come from the transatlantic slave trade? That's a great half point. I totally understand. But what I'm noticing is they using that stuff against us. And for me, personally, I look at it as a slur. If you call me African, that's a slur. And I think I told y'all a story one time where I was somewhere and the brother approached me. He was like, man, what's popping, African? Or what's going on, African? And when he said it to me, it triggered me. It triggered me to the point of I was damn near about to cuss this man out. I damn near about to ball my fist up and, you know what I'm saying, get the jabbing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I had to stop myself for a minute and be like, Brian, first and foremost, you're not on social media, okay? You're not dealing with Africans. This looks like a black American. And he don't mean anything by saying what's going on African. So in a split second, I had to respond and say, what's going on, black man? But I ain't African, bro. I ain't African, but what's going on, black man? You know, I can understand somebody say, what's up, black man? When I say that to him, and I think he kind of understood where I was coming from. Don't call me an African. I don't want to be called African. I don't even want, as I'm describing my people, I don't even want to mention Africa in the description of our people. But I totally understand why when we have these conversations saying, man, we got DNA, life started in Africa, we had an ethnogenesis, all this and all that. I totally understand that conversation, y'all. But I personally think us using the word African is detrimental to us, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, because now you got these Africans thinking that they can grab our ancestors out the grave and bring it back to their land. They think they can bring it back to their dump of a land. They think they can bring our ancestors to their land of hopelessness. They land of degeneracy. They land of bad luck. They land of the devil. They think they can bring our beautiful ancestors back to them and do some spiritual rituals over our people. Or grind our people bones up and do whatever type of seance they want to do to our people. Or try to get that spiritual black American power from our ancestors, because they have no power. Once again, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to think, bro. I'm not trying to tell anyone not to think. And best believe I ran this conversation through a few of my black American friends, even some on social media. A lot of them agreed, a lot of them disagreed, but the ones that disagreed understood where I was coming from. That African word, man, that we gotta be real careful with that, bro, when we have these conversations with these people. Because they're gonna take and run with these Africans trying to find any angle to say that we African so they can attach to us, so they can be a parasite, or so they can tether on to us, so they can say whatever we have accomplished, built, invented, whatever, or whatever that's owed to us, like money, land, whatever hate crime bill needs to be brought up for us, specific for black Americans, the African think they're gonna have some type of allegiance to it or something like that. I don't know if I use allegiance correctly in that form, but they think they have some type of attachment to that because of us. For a long time, man, I remember, I'm 43 years old, so I remember back in the late 80s to the mid 90s, man, everybody was like Africa, Africa, Africa. Look to the right, man. That's the motherland, man. I don't want to stay in America no more. You know, I remember one time a lot of people spell America with 3 Ks, and a lot of people saying how they hate America. I remember that. I remember those times when people used to wear the dashiki, or people used to talk about apartheid and how it need to end and things like that. I remember that. I remember when those Africans used to come over here and we used to feel sorry for them and we used to try to watch out for them and things like that. I remember that. I remember that. Even in the 2000s, the dashiki came back in style again. At one point in time, man, I remember when our beautiful sisters used to wear them dashikis, man, in a dress form. You know what I mean? Back in the early 2000s. Y'all probably don't remember that. I remember that. So we always try to give Africa its props. And I think Africans were seeing it. But even during that time when we were saying, when people, not me, but when people were saying that was African, people saying that we were African descent, people say my ancestors from African, people used to say them my cousins out there in Africa, them my African cousins, people used to say that. And Africans on this land used to tell us this too now, y'all. Y'all ain't African. You ain't no African, you black. How are you African? They used to tell us this. Y'all remember that? They used to tell us this, that you're not African. You're black. You're a Negro. You're American. You're not African. You don't have no ancestors out there. That's what they used to tell us. But how they told it, it was very like in a dismissive, arrogant way too. Like they used to have their nose turned up at us. I remember them professors in my college, man, when I was going to Jackson State. And one of my professors, man, I think she was from the Congo. And I remember, man, she made a slick ass statement about like how I don't know why y'all think y'all from Africa. Y'all been far removed from Africa, so y'all not Africans. And she was saying in a way where y'all need to stop saying y'all African because y'all ain't one of me. We better than you. That's the tone that I took from. That always stuck with me. And that's why I always bring that up with that professor. I always bring that up with that heifer. Excuse my language. Ooh, Lord. My bad. I said heifer. I called that African lady a heifer. But I bring that up all the time because they always stuck with me. And ever since then, throughout my life, I always looked at these Africans as y'all not me. Y'all not me. Then we had people like Pan-Africans, certain Pan-Africans that spoke for Africa. And I was just like, why should we be looking towards Africa? You know what I'm saying? What's so special about Africa? What if, and that's when we started to learn from people like Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Claude Anderson, and other intellectuals that spoke out on this, and they put all the pieces together that we not, I ain't gonna say we was confused about, but we ain't had that middle point that connected everything that made sense. And I thanked them for that, bro. And whoever else, I thanked them for that, bro. Because y'all connected a lot of dots in my mind that I knew, but I couldn't figure it out. And y'all filled in the blanks. Even some of my intellectual people, even some of my people on the ground. I had a partner. He did not like Africans at all. And I couldn't understand it. Everything Tariq saying, or Dr. Claude Anderson saying, or Dr. Phil Scott, anybody that we listen to saying right now, he was saying the same thing back in 2006, 2005. And the reason why he was saying that because he was living in LA at the time. Well, during this time, he from LA, and he used to talk about the Mexicans like a dog. And I never been around Mexicans since I stayed in Mississippi. We didn't have Mexicans out there at that time, you know. And he used to say a lot of things, man, talking about, man, them ain't our people. You can't trust them. They racist. They did this. They did that. And he the one that sparked some things about Mexicans too, or Latinos too. So the point I'm trying to make is that's one of the main reasons why I don't use that African DNA. I don't like using that transatlantic slave trade type narrative. I don't like saying that we all come from Africa. I don't like using that, man. I be using kind of like the indigenous or the American Indian language sometimes when I come at these people, because once you say anything Africa, they gonna run with this shit. And I'm not, and me not bringing up the transatlantic slave trade is not me trying to erase our history. It's not me trying to forget our history. It's none of that. And I hope y'all can understand the context that I'm using this. And once again, I'm an ignorant ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do think a lot. You know what I'm saying? I do have my thoughts. I do have my ideas. And I'm pretty sure other people have thought about this too. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think I'm the only person that spoke like this, but I'm just keeping it 100. I will always talk about the transatlantic slave trade amongst my people, amongst my foundational Black American people, amongst my friends, amongst my family. If I'm on a panel, we having discussions, I'm going to talk about the transatlantic slave trade. I'm not going to run from that. I'm going to talk about my Black indigenous people on this land before the transatlantic slave trade came. I'm going to talk about that. I'm still going to talk about we finding out in Harvard has found out there was 90 to 100,000 people that came over from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade. But I'm going to still ride the coattails of the 2 to 300,000 that came here. And I guess there's 3%, 3 to 6% of the people from the transatlantic slave trade made it to the United States of America. I would run with this still. But at the same time, man, when I be coming at these people, when I be making videos about these people, I will always, y'all might hear me say, man, I ain't no African descent from you motherfuckers. I ain't got no ancestors out there. None of my people act like y'all. I don't know y'all. Y'all don't know me. What if and this my thing to them Africans too. Because now they gonna say we're African now, but at one point in time, never say they're African. But my question is to them, why I never heard an African say in Africa like, hey, them my cousin out there in America, man. My granddaddy uncle stay out there in America, man. He's a descendant of slaves, man. Woo woo woo. Why they never say that? Why they never say they have ancestors that was doing the slave trade? They never said that. That's why I don't believe that majority of us is from there. That's just me personally. Even just doing my genealogy, it pointed out there ain't no goddamn Africans. Just hard for me to believe. So I know this is ignorant. Once again, I know this is like an ignorant subject or probably a dumb take to take on using the word African. But for me, man, when it comes to this political game, when it comes to things that we're trying to get, debates and stuff like that, man, I just think that word African, man, is very detrimental, man. However we use it, that's just me personally. And it's a lot of people that I have talked to this about, even my friends, even people on social media. I asked them this, and they feel the same way. So that's what gave me the galls to talk about it over here. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm not gonna use the word African to describe us too much. I might still use it, in our videos when we just chopping it up as family and stuff like that. But I just want y'all to know before I end this video that I'm very aware that there is a possibility that we do have DNA from Africa. I do understand when people say life started in Africa. I do believe in the transatlantic slave trade, and I do believe there were slaves here. I would never deny that. So I just want to make sure we all kind of understand that. So let me say it once again for the people in the back. I do believe that there was slavery here in America. I'm not one of these delusional people thinking that it wasn't no slaves here. My family was slaves in the Delta of Mississippi, Greenwood, Mississippi, to be exact. Okay, so I do have slaves. There was a lot of people that was enslaved in Mississippi in my family. I think it was like 400,000 slaves and 700 and some freed people during the time of slavery. Okay, but I think it was 1,000 freed people, and maybe a little more than that. But the record shows about 4 to 500,000 slaves in the Mississippi during that time. So, but anyway, I just want to let y'all know, man, I love you all so much. Man, we're going to stand 10 toes down. And that's just want to spread just how I feel about that. That's all. Because a couple people asked me about that. You know what I mean? I saw it in my comments. I said, let me respond to that so they can get a better clarity of what I was talking about. But anyway, y'all be safe. I love you all. I'm going to try to go live today, probably like 7 o'clock Central Time or whatever, man. I'm going to take me a little nap. And cause my dog, oh God, y'all just don't understand what's going on. My dog, is on her period, right? And I usually time her period pretty good, but she got me off guard, y'all. She's 7 years old, and I should have got that dog feed when she was a baby. Well, she about 7, 8. She about 8 years old now. No, she 8 years old. And man, it got me off guard, man. It was blood everywhere around this motherfucker when I woke up. But I cleaned it up, got the shampoo, carpet shampoo, got the scrubbing, all that stuff, washed everything. I'm like, then she was laying on my shirt. I'm like, God damn, I had to throw it. Well, I washed it first, try to get the stains out. But yeah, man, so I'm going through it, man. So y'all pray for my dog. She's going through her little dog cycle right now. So I'm going to put a pamper on her or a doggy period pad on her and let the Lord take it from there. So y'all pray for me. But anyway, I love you all. Y'all be safe. And salute to everyone, man. Thank y'all so much. Peace out.